Hey,
Hey,
all right. Success.
Okay, and audio is still good, my man?
Yeah, so now I can hear you. So the key here is just make sure Mike's next to that microphone. That's the
Okay.
idea. Mike
Okay.
likes to sit, he likes to like, here's my mic. Mike,
Uh-huh.
he literally will chill back and talk like this and relax, which is fine. But
Right.
he doesn't have a lapel mic.
I made everybody skirt steak and fillets. So
This guy.
I'm gonna eat this and I'm gonna eat my fillet in like 2 seconds. So.
I don't care what you do, bro. We're setting up. No worries. No worries. So I just want to make sure the mic is closer when he moves, because he moves.
Right.
Okay, show them. Look, I seriously, I made everybody fillets and skirt steak for lunch, made by me.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
See, I'm not kidding. I'm out here.
Hey, fam. How's everybody doing?
This is almost a daily occurrence here now.
Oh, am I cooking?
So,
Yeah.
Dan, do me a favor. Put that mic in front of you. I just want to hear if there's a difference.
Okay. That good to go?
Put it in front of you. Don't even worry about the microphone. My voice will carry. I promise you that. So bring it closer to your chest. Now sit back in the chair and lounge like Mike will. Now talk.
Yo, Brian.
All right. So we have much more clear. Literally, you saw the recording last time. It was like,
Yeah.
anything. So just make sure that microphone's volume's all the way up
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that he doesn't do it. And then when he sits down, tell him don't touch anything.
Is that still good, Ryan?
That's good there. That's good there.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there then. Awesome.
I'll be in here I got 1 minute to eat, I think.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording.
Some organic, some fillets, like good fillets, and skirt steak today.
Good for you, man. I'm sure they appreciate that. I'm setting up as we speak, going live on Facebook, the whole usual bit. Give me a minute. But at least this way I can hear you now.
Let me know when we're live, please.
I definitely will. So like same thing like last time, bro. I'll ask you the same questions, kind of leading you into it. You talk about what you want to talk about and bypass whatever you don't want to talk about.
Okay, perfect. That sounds good, man. Sounds good. I got something to show you on a personal note.
Okay.
On a personal note, 20 years ago,
Look at that.
I'm right here with the long neck right there.
Look at this guy. Well, thank you for your service, my man.
Barely graduated high school. I had to come up with something to do. No, just let me know when we're live, okay?
You got it.
I'm gonna grab a lighter real quick. I want to light this candle. All right.
Go right ahead.
I'll be back in 1 minute. Thank you, brother. Jen, send that contract to PK right after lunch. Just let me know when you're ready, sir.
Ready to go. Let me know. I'm going to hit live now.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. All right. So we are live. Let me get the IG going. All right. So we are back with another episode of Borderline Inappropriate. We've got round 2 with Michael Fitzgerald. We all know that the first round we couldn't hear that much, and Mike's too good not to be heard. And I have more respect for him for that. And I want him to be heard. I want him to share the stories and that advice and that encouragement. We got him back on the show. Mike, please, by all means, reintroduce yourself. Let's make sure we've got you loud and clear.
But let me start. Can you hear me now? No,
We are back, brother.
Mike Fitzgerald. I've been doing real estate, and I've been an entrepreneur now for 16 years. I started in a one-bedroom apartment. I currently hold approximately over 400 rental units. I've done north of 1,500 real estate transactions. I have a successful third-party administrated Reg B fund that's going on good. And I'm on Instagram at Mike, with number 2, the Fitz. So Mike to the THE.
Mike to the Fitz. I like that.
I did another cool thing is I did my first 7-figure deal, no money down, from a one-bedroom apartment. It was my 4th deal when a farmer called me up, wanted $900,000 for a farm. I was able to negotiate it down to $600,000. I did it no money down to where I could subdivide it and sell it all towards my purchase price. At the end of the day, it ended up being a 7-figure deal, and that was my first year in real estate from a one-bedroom apartment. But I finished it on year 2.5. It took me a lot longer to finish, and it was money I made along the way that made it possible.
Amazing, amazing. So 21 years old, what was the biggest fear you had at that moment going after that deal?
When I got the call, I started when I was later in when I was 20, 21 years. When he called me and wanted the money for his farm, I didn't really look at the fact it was $1 million. I wanted to know what the deal was. If it's a good deal, the money's going to be there. You know, that's what I learned throughout my real estate career. And real estate, I had never worried about, you know, how, if I got another good deal, how I was going to fund it. I've always been able to fund a good deal. If you have a good deal, the money's out there, somebody's out there to buy it. And I think that kind of mentality kind of helped me grow. You know, my first year I did 3 real estate deals. My second year I did 9 or so. My third year 15. My fourth year maybe 25, 30. Okay. And then, you know, eventually around 100 a year. And what's hard to you today is easy to you tomorrow. What you pick up along the way and what you learn, you know, they say wisdom and knowledge is power, and power is wisdom and knowledge. If what you later on, it becomes much easier. So, you know, one of the biggest things I learned from early on is stick with it, keep going. And, you know, I made it through an 07, 08 recession. Now we're here, 2020. You know, hey, where did my 20s go? But it's been 16 years as of March.
So you've been in the game 16 years, is that right?
Yeah.
So me, 15. Isn't that crazy how time flies? I'll be 39 this year. And I'm looking at everything I've accomplished in the past, including the struggles and all the mistakes and everything, because that's all part of the journey. You know, I would imagine did that first deal you did, the $1 million deal you did that young, did that set you up for a path of success, or was it more of a path of failures and then going back into the success?
You know, that's a solid question. When I finished the deal, I had $1.2 million in equity from, you know, no money down. Had about $60,000 in it. When I started the deal, I had $30,000 in the bank. So it was money I made along the way. We'd ended up getting denied. And I think it was because I looked 10 years old.
Right.
And on an appeals board, I always remember a surveyor explained another deal, the exact same thing, and said, so if I take an aspirin one day and it cures my headache, can I expect the same results the next? And, you know, I got it voted for, and then I had the equity, and I could have sold each lot for $300,000 at the time. But instead, you know, it took me 1.5 years, 2 years to finish the deal. So this puts us in 06, 07. And lots were just going for $350, and we were still going up. So when I got offered $300 a piece from a builder, I sat. Well, next thing you know, we were in recession, and I had a few losses on some of my rehabs. You know, I was a younger entrepreneur. I paid 100% of a loss. I paid the investor 100% of their interest. I asked no favors. But instead of selling them for $300,000 a lot, I ended up selling it for $150 a lot. And I ended up borrowing money on the house. But that deal definitely brought me through a recession. And then by the time banks wouldn't work with me my first 3 years in real estate. So banks really wouldn't work with me until I was 24. I remember there was a bank president in town at one time, Steve Michael. Unfortunately passed away, a wonderful person. He said, Mike, when you first came in this bank branch, our bank, he was at another bank at the time, 12 years ago, he used to always tell the story every year. I said, that guy's either going to be really successful, really broke, or one of the two. And Another banker said to me one time when I first came in, people at the bank said, he's just a young guy saying he's going to buy and sell all this real estate. He's never going to amount to anything. Well, I mean, by the time I was 27, I had over 15 million in real estate. By the time I was 29, I had 25 million in rentals. And, now I understand borrowing so much. I have a 100% record of that. I've paid people all their interest. I've done what I'm supposed to do. And, with the fund, of course, everything's at a risk. But with my real estate, I've been on point so long that I understand lending so much. It led me to start a fund with a partner that's, he's a brilliant guy. And we lend to tier 1 real estate investors only. In other words, guys that do 20, 30 deals a year, have experience, and based on the value of the asset or note or whatever that may be. But that's going extremely well as well. We got our reports for last year, and investors made north of 11% for the year, so that's pretty good.
Repeat that last part. I think that's important. How much did they make?
We got our reports for last year. Our target's 10 to 12%. Investors get a 5% preferred return.
Right.
Last year, investors made north of 11%, and our biggest investor in the fund is 1.1 million.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you accomplished a lot in your 20s, right? So before we go into what we're doing now and where we're going, you accomplished a lot in your 20s. What was the core fundamentals or foundation that you had going into this? Because there's a lot of bravado. There's a lot of, obviously, confidence there.
I had my own challenges throughout the years, of course, because I started out real estate. I have a wonderful dad, hard worker, makes beautiful woodwork and stuff. But, he struggled a lot growing up. I had 3 younger sisters, a younger brother, and I never went to college. And going into real estate, the advice I got from family was you need to work one job for 20 years, the second one 20 years, so you have 2 pensions coming in. Then after I first got successful in real estate, it was the same advice, but now everybody knows, and I just say stick with it. You get challenges throughout your real estate career. I've had challenges throughout the years, hurdles, but I've always done the right thing. I've always paid my investors 100% of their interest. I've never taken, I've always done what I'm supposed to do. So now my best references are bank presidents, people who have loaned me 7 figures for around a decade, and folks like that. And I'd say if you stick with it, and when you have a challenge, so say you're just starting real estate, say you're into 2 or 3 real estate deals and you have a challenge on one, don't stop buying, raise money, buy 2 more, because that's the income that's going to make up the misstep. Mm-hmm. So don't be afraid to move forward. And as long as you're moving forward and you have more wins than hurdles, you're doing pretty good. I've been blessed. I was surprised last year. I didn't realize I was still young anymore. I was 2019 Washington County Young Professional of the Year. I served 3 of the last 4 years on the Economic Development Commission. When I wanted to join the country club when I was 22, I went in the parking lot, got 2 people to sponsor me, and I've been a member of Fountain Country Club since I've been 22. I never thought about it. I just did it. I made decisions. I moved forward. They're well thought out decisions, but I didn't stop myself. So, now today, I have a large successful real estate portfolio. My notable tenants on the commercial side include the Chamber of Commerce, CNB Bank, a restaurant, and quite a few others. So I never thought I'd own 50,000 square foot commercial buildings. I never thought I'd own apartment complexes. I thought if I had 5 or 6 units, that was the ticket. I'd have retirement. Well, if you stick with it, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you've created a successful tomorrow. You got options, choices. You can help others. There's a lot you can do. I don't brag about the charity work I do, but I love doing stuff like that, and I love archaeology. So
okay, all right.
Real estate enables me to do some of my passions, and I'm hoping in the next 5 years to be a straight fund manager, advise 1 or 2 assets personally a year with friends and operators in the states I know. I'm part of a collective genius mastermind, so
sure.
I'm in the mastermind with like a lot of the smartest real estate investors in America. A guy like me, that gives a lot of options too. So
it does. Collective Genius is a great mastermind.
For example, I'm in Maryland. You're thinking, hey, Mike, you're in Maryland. I have an apartment complex in Oklahoma. I had 2 when I sold one. Now I got a 105 unit complex in Oklahoma, but I know a great operator in the state from a mastermind, and I have little responsibility except meetings and raising money and stuff like that, but it's going very well. So I would say I'll be a fund manager that picks up 1 or 2 properties a year. Until then, right now, we're generally targeting to wholesale between 8 and 12 a month, and we're wholesaling in 5 states. And we do various rehabs, and I run my fund with the partner.
Oh, that's excellent. So currently where you sit now, you got a team, you got a staff. What does that look like? I've met Dan. I know you have your
Okay, so
operations manager.
I got a bookkeeper. I have on my office staff side with new hires, we have 13. Now
Okay.
that counts that accounts for 8 virtual employees that are very smart that have been with me for a long time. We had a bigger staff at one time, but right now we're kind of like a well-oiled machine. I've got the rentals to a science. I'm really just, my main focus. I'm kind of like every other entrepreneur. You see a shiny object. So I had a few other things going on for a long time. I actually started and ran with a partner, Hub City Real Estate Investors Association, for over a decade, and we had 80 to 100 people to our meetings, over 1,800 people through our doors. I also had a granite business where I imported containers, but I decided I'm giving up everything except my real estate and my fund, because my core focus is to be a fund manager.
Mm-hmm.
And when I focus real estate, that makes all that possible. So right now I'm very focused on the real estate side, very focused on the asset side, very focused on training my employees and enabling them, and have a huge focus on the fund. Luckily I got a great partner for that with a ton of experience, but that's I feel that I feel comfortable targeting 10 to 12%, and like I said, it's been a really good thing. We actually have our third-party administrations, Redwood Administration. They're a division of Fairway America. So in other words, a third-party administrator verifies all returns, double checks everything. So it's a very well put together, very well thought out. And I personally, even though I'm a manager, I've invested a few $100,000 of my own cash.
Well, good for you on that, brother. So let's talk about where you're at right now. What is Mike buying right now? What's the goal? And then is what you're doing right now just kind of adding to the portfolio, if you will? Because I know you want to be a fund manager. That's
my
where
goal
you're
right
going.
now, I feel one of the cities I'm in is about to go through a major gentrification. So I'm looking to bulk up there. But right now, all I'm really looking to do is strengthen my existing portfolio and pick up apartment complexes. One at a time, just because they have great cash flow. I know great operators in other states, so I can generally be a lot of hands off. So probably where we were pushing to do 70 plus rehabs a year. I've done high-end condos. One of America's #1 small city for the last 10 years, Frederick, Maryland, had the highest selling condos. I've done a lot of construction, but I'm kind of pulled back from construction. I'm strengthening my existing portfolio, my office buildings, my rentals. And, really just looking if I can pick up a major asset that's stabilized and some value add, and I got a good operator in the state. I'm doing that myself. I'll probably next 2 years we'll probably pick up another 200 units in apartment complexes. But again, my main goal is to be a good fund manager.
Understood. So right now there's entrepreneurs watching you. Other investors are watching you. Different levels of investors are watching you, right? That's the nature of this podcast. What advice do you have for those individuals right now watching who aren't maybe at your level yet, who are teeter-tottering with the idea, should I go big, should I stay small? What is it?
Guys, I started out in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I was fortunate. One of the first people I went to raise money from was a guy that grew a business to over 400 employees. And we're still friends to this day. He's older now, so he's not a direct investor. I mean, he's around 90, but
Mike, sit back a little bit.
He's around 90. But he came in my 1-bedroom apartment, took my shoebox full of receipts and said, Mike, you need a bookkeeper. Said, Mike, you need an office. Said, Mike, you need a Girl Friday. I said, what's a Girl Friday? Then when he wasn't in Florida for 4 years, he was in my office coaching me, mentoring me, a fellow by the name of Dick Greenwald. And he had built a company to over 400 employees and sold it in '89 for $40 million, a music magazine distribution company, him and 2 minority partners and his brother. And he had taught me a lot. But when I started in a 1-bedroom apartment, I didn't even go to raise money for 2 years. And I started out with only around 10,000 I had saved up, and I didn't even really need to start out with that. The difference was I was working a full-time 40-hour-a-week job. I made it happen. I went out. I put up bandit signs. I looked for real estate deals. I read about how to wholesale. I went to investor groups. You don't let anything hold you back. If you're thinking about it, just do it. You know, come up with a plan. If you're buying a property right, if you're making an investment right, if you're an entrepreneur that, you know, is out there and it's your first big thing and you don't want to mess it up, don't be scared of failure. Be scared of not being successful. Go out there and just do it. If you do it, you're going to be successful. Action plus action equals massive results.
Boom.
And, you know, if you don't, it took me 3 months to get my first deal. What if I gave up at 2 months and 20 days? I wouldn't have had that first deal. So, guys, take action, just do it and move forward. You know, if an entrepreneur life is a good life, having a business is good. If that's your mindset, then don't let life hold you back. Think of how you can do. Think of what you can do at this time and make it happen.
Awesome. I like that advice. Action plus action equals massive results. That's actually really, you should have that on a t-shirt, bro.
You know, I coached Kong, Wholesale to Millions, and he's one of the only people I coached. And now he's huge. He has like a 40,000 person YouTube following. Great guy. I flew out. I helped him do his first 3 deals. He'd been looking for deals for 18 months. With me in a month and a half, he got 3 deals. And again, he's super sharp guy. He's killing it. But he says action to action equals massive results and massive action all the time. He got that from me.
I love it. You got to put that on a shirt, man. You got to claim it. So where do we go from here? Do you mentor anybody? Do you try to mentor anybody?
I get a lot of people all the time. You know, people offer me $25,000, but it's not my thing. You know, sure. I mentored 4 people. They're all killing it, but my time is focused differently. I thought about doing a mastermind, or I thought about speaking here or there just to help people and give them advice, but my money's not made in coaching. My money's made in life and doing it. And would I come out and would I speak for somebody for a day? Probably, because I find it fun and rewarding. Might I do like a 3-day mastermind here or there with someone? Maybe, because I think any investor that's doing 10 or 12 deals a year, I can 10x in just like 3 days. So I thought about that, but it's not part of my core focus. I'm not close to it, but it's not part of my core focus.
Understood. All right, so let's go back to the future now. We're going to be a fund manager. Mm-hmm. Describe for people what that is. What does that look like? What's the responsibilities?
Okay, so what we do, we have an SEC Reg D fund. We give investors a 5% preferred return. Then it's a 50-50 split and or a 60-40 split, depending on the level of investment, meaning the investors have to make 5% before we as fund managers make anything. We target 10 to 12%. We only lend to tier 1 guys. So my partner's in 5 different masterminds, and I'm in a couple. And we look for very sharp real estate investors, relationship-based. We look to talk to them first, make sure they're a good person. Mm-hmm. And then we have underwriters too that go through and verify everything. But what we do is we lend to guys that are offering on a 100 apartment complex a year to buy 2 for $3 million that are worth $6 million when they fix it up. Or we have a really good sponsor in New York that's buying. It's an approximate example of a true life deal the fund invested in. A tier 1 sponsor of ours it's a default term debt, meaning the person hit default term on their loan. They're paying their payments, but their term ended with the bank. So the building's worth $10 million a block away from Central Park, and we can get the first lien debt for 4.8 approximately. And the bank debt's 4.9. So he can hit them with 24% default rate from day 1 and 6% in other fees. So chances are this direct sponsor has done 600 million of this type of stuff, and most people pay back in 4 or 5 months, and if they don't, it's even better. Some people pay back quicker, so things like that can really give a good pop. So last year, investors, I want to say approximately made an 11.5% total return and around a 10-point-something% distribution. Now I can send exact numbers to anybody that's interested straight from our third-party administrator. But we're right on target. Our goal is to be a $200 million fund. We feel comfortably that with our sponsors, we can put the money to work and then grow from there. Now, my partner has been a fund manager since 2009, extremely great record, extremely smart, extremely conservative. I'm very lucky to have a very solid partner. His fund is around 25 million, but his capability was to put out even much greater sums. So that's where I come into the picture. You know, the focus is really on our joint fund as it grows, and then, you know, it's going to it's the future. So I'm really excited about it. I know that if I can make investors 10 to 12% through directly investing in you know, safe strategies with deep downside protection. So everything we invest in has significant downside protection. In other words, an apartment complex with $3 million in equity that we have a 20% pref on. You know, we feel pretty safe there if a guy's going to refinance it, but if not, we're okay. So the thing I like the most is we haven't lent on anything yet. I didn't wish I hadn't. So I like it. It's for somebody that loves doing real estate deals and it's their passion. Looking at other people's deals all day is a dream. It's so much fun to me. We have great underwriters. I'm extremely confident in our strategy, and I'm excited about our future now. Last year, those are our Q1 through Q4 results. We started in the fourth quarter in Q4 of 2018. So 2019 full results were a little bit north of 11% for the year to investors.
That's crazy, man. I mean, you're throwing out percentages and numbers left and right, right? It's fantastic.
I want to be careful with that, guys. I want to be careful because I am an SEC fund. Let me say this. You know, see, I can send you the PPM. I can send you a subscription booklet. Feel free to seek legal advice. No investments, 100% guaranteed. All numbers I said they were approximate, but I can send the exact Q1 through Q4 results from third-party administrator to anybody that asks.
So this is extremely high-level information. Clearly, you know, the SEC.
That's why I wanted to give the disclosure.
No worries. The SEC is extremely important. I mean, there are guidelines that there's no doubt about that, and this is very high-level conversation in terms of
with my real estate business, it's different because I can say, hey, all my investors, I've paid back every single loan. I've taken 100% of any learning lessons I had. With the fund, I got to be careful with disclosures.
Sure.
You know, I'm really excited about it, though. You know, we have a presentation once a week of our fund, and we talk about the investments, talk about current investments, and you know, anybody that wants to jump on that, please feel free. I can put you on one of those meetings to learn more, and we can also send you the private placement memorandum, the subscription package, the website, my credibility website. So I have my own credibility website, password protected.
So let's talk about that. You mentioned you want to achieve a $200 million fund, correct?
To start, you know, we feel comfortable on our strategy to 200 million. Eventually, we want to be, you know, probably $500 million fund manager.
Understood. How far? Where are we at in that goal right now?
We want to manage what we can manage safely, and we want to manage what we feel comfortable with.
Of course.
Our strategy, and we have enough operators to do that. We can keep building. Now, right now we have over 7 figures under management. Our biggest investor, 1.1 million. Our fund's only a couple $1 million fund right now, but it's growing.
Gotcha.
We had very good results last year, and that was important for people to see our results. And also over the last year, I've been changing my real estate business to where I can put my focus in the fund. So I'm expecting to be 20 million, hopefully by the end of the first quarter of next year. We got a little bit of a ways to go, but I'm confident.
Yeah, man, sounds like it. You're on your way, brother. Let me ask you this, because I think a lot of people that are watching this and will watch this over the next 24 hours are going to be scratching their head, right? They're going to be like, wow, like this is a lot of information.
Guys, I started out as a real estate investor, but wanted to flip 1 or 2 properties a year.
Yeah.
Take care of my parents, and that was it. You know, I've been able to help my family out a lot. 11 years ago, I was fortunate enough to buy a home my parents had when I was a kid. I fixed it up, moved them back into it. And I did just follow a dream of flipping a couple houses a year, buying, fixing, and selling. And if I had, there was this one guy in town growing up and I went to 6 different elementary schools, but where I ended up was this little town out of Western Maryland. And there was this guy in town that had 9 rentals. And I just think, man, that's a life. He must make really good money on his 9. I didn't really understand it. I never would have thought I would have had hundreds of rental units. I never would have thought I would have had office buildings. I never would have thought I'd get invited to join prestigious commissions. I never would have thought I would have had Senate recognition, congressional recognition. I never would have thought I would have been nominated for business person of the year twice. I never would have thought I would have won. Not even going in it myself. I was 2000.
Bring that closer. Let's read that. Bring that closer. You earned that.
Gave a great speech. Unfortunately, I don't have it recorded. I never would have thought I have 2 citations from the governor of Maryland. One thanking me for my high ability and integrity, and another one thanking me for being an entrepreneur in the state. So all this started in a 1-bedroom apartment with a couple $1,000s that you didn't even need any money, and a dream. And, funniest thing, I went to the apartment complex I started in, and I talked to the manager about 2 years ago. I walked in and she started crying. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "When you came in and said you were going to start buying and selling real estate, I looked over at the other lady. I said, he's plumb dumb, went crazy. We're not going to get our rent next month." She said, "I'm so proud of you. I see you on the news. I see you in newspapers." I bought a house in Sharpsburg, the town I grew up in, and in the basement, my guys found a box of newspapers, and a wooden box of newspaper. It was every different article I've been in. It was so crazy. I buy this house from the town I lived in. This older man who had passed away. In his basement, he was saving all my newspapers, I guess, because I was from the same town. So there was a box of like 20 newspaper clippings of me, including all my front page articles. So it's been that actually tears me up, but it's been a great run. Real estate's been amazing to me. It's enabled me to take care of my family, take care of my son. Business has been amazing to me. If you stick with it, if you stay focused, if you stay balanced, if you stay motivated, you'll find the things that are easy in life, and the things that and definitely some of the decisions for the right now. Guys, those are for now. If you want to be fulfilled in life, live your dreams, live your goals, and stick with it. Fulfillment is different than a daily decision to make you happy. It takes discipline. Even right now, because I'm looking for growth, I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm on top of my game. I'm a single dad. I have a wonderful son. I have him 7 days on, 7 days without. So the 7 days I have him, I take off work around 4. But when I don't have him, I'm working late, and I'm 16 years in. I don't have to do this, but I'm putting 80 hours a week in myself again, because I know where I want to be, where I want to go, and I have dreams. I don't let anything stop me. And every one of you guys can do the same thing. There's nothing special about me. I didn't have the best grades in high school. I never went to college, but I've always been a dreamer, and I've always stuck with my goals.
No, that's a phenomenal. I appreciate you sharing that. At the end of the day, that's extremely important. What's highly noted, I know from my perspective, is I saw your son running around the office last time we talked, and I think that's something special, because my twins, I've got 5-year-old twins, boy and a girl, they're running around our office all the time, and that's something that they're accustomed to because they get to see dad run a business, right? So they're getting that in their mind about what's going on and how that process and lifestyle is, right? And at the same time, you have them around you when you need them, and you can keep some eyesight on them, which is important as well. So as long as you're productive, right, and you're getting your shit done.
Oh, no. So they're letting me teach my son now at school. So during the day, I'll give him stuff, but it's my own stuff. So I tell them that, because now with COVID, one of the special things like that came out of it, I got to teach my son his schoolwork. So when I teach my son his schoolwork, I'll throw in my own class. I'll put on something on ancient history and ask him for 3 things he learned. He'll come back in. Well, it was old, Dad. I'm like, well, Ben, give me a better fact than that. Or I'll be on a conference call meeting. I'll be, Ben, can you tell me 2 or 3 things I can do better? Can you watch it for me? Can you give me some advice? And I'll get him involved, and I'll pay. It's really a lot of fun. And I feel blessed to be able to take my son to work. And if it wasn't my business, if it wasn't my office, I couldn't do that.
That's correct. So, you're absolutely correct.
Culture at my office, just today I cook steaks I cook steaks for people, even though we have a small team here, most people virtually right now. I'm big on team building, I'm big into making life happen.
I love it, man. All right, so let's close this off the right way. You are going towards fund management. What is going to happen with your current business model as that transition continues to grow over time? Where will the current business model reside? And then obviously your future is big and bright. I mean, your entire career has been an amazing travel. I've enjoyed hearing the journey because I can relate to it tremendously personally. But at the end of the day, you're going this way for sure, which is all the way up, right? What's going to happen with everything you've got right now?
So I'll keep, my rentals, I'm in a downtown that's gentrifying. When that goes up, I might sell off a big portion of my smaller portfolio. I'll mainly switch to mostly office buildings and complexes. My wholesale business, I'll either give partially to my COO and have him run, or B, I'll sell it, or C, I'll partner up, because it's just a side focus for me. I want that business is great, and I've done well there so far. And this month we have 6 figures in revenue from that business, a lot of which today, but closing right before this, and it can be multiple 6 figures. It's great, but once the fund gets up to a certain level, probably 50 million, I'm going to either sell, the next couple of years, partner up, or let my office run that business and treat them really
Sure.
fair. I would rather, and then what I'll look for at that point is I'll start targeting large assets, 10, 15 million, 20 million or more, and buy them at a discount. And I'll buy one of them every year or two myself, partner up with a key operator in that state that can do the operations I'm not as good at, and just work on the fund. And it's very exciting. It's to me, I know I can do it. I just need a chance, and I'm gonna do it. Nothing's gonna stop me.
Absolutely. Well, you got a friend in me, man. Whatever you need, if I can ever offer you assistance, you know who to call.
I go to Oklahoma once every couple months because I'm looking to buy another complex out there, and I got a really nice apartment complex out there, and I constantly have a layover in Chicago. It seems like they always want a half-hour layover in Chicago. It's hard to get that direct flight. So instead, next time I'll make it like a 24-hour layover, and I'll come hang out.
Well, we'll definitely hang out. Oh, absolutely, without question. So, 1, I appreciate you. 2, I respect you. 3, you're amazing. 4, tell the audience that final bit of advice right here, right now. Quarantine is pretty much let up. COVID-19 still exists. What is it?
Make an excuse. It's always easy to push something back to later today, tomorrow. But if you just do it, you'll see that that's really the easiest thing. That's what pushes you forward. That's what creates your future. So when you're sitting out there and you're thinking about business or whatever you want to do, don't just think about it. Write down what those action steps are and just do it.
Listen to this man. Listen to this man. Listen to this man. Listen, with all the cameras, we got him all over. Listen to this man. All right, Mike, tell them everything. How do they get a hold of you? Where do they want to invest?
I hope everybody could hear me today, by the way.
Everybody heard you.
This is the first podcast I've done in over a year, and not because I couldn't do podcasts. I get people inviting me every month. So,
Well, I appreciate you accepting my invite.
I'm glad to do it for a friend. I might jump on some more here soon, but you can follow me at Mike to the Fitz. That's MIKE, the number 2, the THE Fitz, FITZ on Instagram. Mike to the Fitz on Instagram. I have Facebook as well, but I'm maxed out there, so I have to delete and
go
back up. But let me, guys, if you want any information on the fund, don't hesitate to ask, and keep following and keep listening to this podcast. It's a good podcast. You can learn a lot. A lot of podcasts, you don't actually have someone that has the knowledge behind them and has actually done it. You do here. So please keep tuning in.
Thank you.
Everybody, Mike to the Fitz. Mike to the Fitz. Mike.
It's like a rap record. Mike to the Fitz.
And
let's go.
Let me I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you my Dream Fund Investments link if you want to put it on the site.
Yeah, give it to me.
So let me give me 1 second.
No worries. No rush. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike Fitzgerald. He's going to get his link for his fund, so you guys can look that information up.
It's
this guy.
So it's Mike .Fitzgerald at Dream DREAM Fund FUND Investments.com. Mike.Fitzgerald at DreamFundInvestments.com.
Got it. I will post that link for you, my man, on this as it uploads. We're going to save it to YouTube like usual. So, Mike, thank you very much for coming on our show. I hope a lot of you are going to get a lot of, this was a high-level conversation talking about funds. That's something that a lot of investors aren't talking about. They might have dreams about going that route. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're scared. Fear is nothing but just an idea in your mind, man. That's all it is an imaginary barrier. So if you have any ideas, any questions, any thoughts, reach out to me, reach out to Mike, and we'll get you on the right path and the right page.
And no matter what level, I think it's important to say, no matter what level, if you're looking to get in the real estate business and you've done nothing yet, just do it. Go to local real estate investment associations, figure out how to find a good deal, no money down, take that action. It's going to pay in results. It may take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, as your first step as an entrepreneur. But if you stick with it, eventually you're going to be like, man, why was that so hard? It's so easy now. So just stick with it.
I love it. Thank you, Mike. So quick reminder for everybody out there, definitely look up Mike. If you have any questions regarding what he's doing and how to do it, please reach out to him. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to try to accommodate time with you. If you have any questions for me or need any connections from me, I know a lot of people, and I'll do my best to connect you. I hope you guys got a good little series out of this today. Happy hump day, and I'll see you guys next week. We're going to have another big guest coming on. I like to keep it a little quiet until they come on, because sometimes it just shocks the shit out of people, and I like that value. So you guys have a great day. Mike, thank you very much, brother. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Have a great day. Reach out to me later when you have time. Talk to you guys soon.